What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to talk about some essentials that I carry on the road with me. If you own a boat, these are things that if you're going to trailer it, that you have to have in your car. I don't care if you're going 5 miles or you're going 500. I've been on and around boats since I was 5 years old for about 35, 36 years now, and the common denominator that I find myself, if I leave home without some of these things I'm about to show you, is that I find trouble. So the purpose of the video is really just to help some people out. I know a lot of people with boats that literally have no idea that they should have this stuff. So I just wanted to quick show you kind of what my setup is and what I always carry with me at all times. So what you're looking at here, this is my '07 Sequoia. It's my official tow vehicle for my boat. Pretty much most places. If I'm going on really long trips, this is my LX 570. It's got a little bit bigger engine, tows a lot better, but obviously we don't want to mess that up. So we use the Sequoia for most of that. Real quick, if you'll walk with me over here, I want to show you guys what my setup is on my boat. If you'll follow me. So this is my Everglades 24-3. So on a recent road trip, I went down to Cape Canaveral. It was about a 900 and something mile trip, nearly 1,000 miles. I didn't repack my bearings, and I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Really, you're supposed to do it annually. I didn't do it for 2 years. I put 2 new torsion axles. This is a Magic Tilt trailer. I put 2 new torsion axles on it in 2017 in the spring, and I kind of got lazy. I got a little comfortable and didn't repack the bearings. So I was coming home, and on the way back, probably 700 and so miles into that trip, and I constantly look at my rearview mirrors and my side mirrors as well, and I was driving probably 65 miles an hour near Tifton, Georgia, taking my time, and I look out the mirror and I see literally just smoke shooting out of here. A nice steady stream of smoke, and you know what that means. If it's never happened to you, hopefully it hasn't. Basically, I knew I'd already shot a bearing out of there, and so I pulled over, kind of hobbled down the shoulder for half a mile. I pulled over to a gas station. Lo and behold, and I'll show you a picture of it, hopefully if I can post it, the bearing was completely shot. So it's my mistake for doing that, but if I'd repack it annually, like I'm preaching to everybody to do, and it's kind of a pain in the neck, there's other maintenance with the boat that you want to take care of. I just didn't do it. I got lazy. So that's not really a good excuse. You should always repack them annually. I don't care if you drive any distance, you definitely need to do it. A few hundred miles a year, I'm doing it anyway. It's kind of like the water impeller, on your outboard motor. So if you'll come over here, I'll show you what I carry around with me. So I got stuck in this situation outside of Tifton, Georgia, and I kind of did a hybrid of what I like to do. I'm obviously a do-it-yourselfer, and so what I did was I called the tow truck company and had them do it for me. I was feeling kind of lazy. It was hot outside, but I had all this equipment with me. It's about 16, 17 items. A spare tire. I'm going to assume that everybody carries a spare tire on their boat. So kind of in general, what is all this stuff? So to start with, you need a tire iron. That's obviously number one. To take the wheel off, you run into a situation. You got to have something heavy duty. The thing in your car, what most people don't realize is your car comes equipped with this. It doesn't mean the lugs are going to match up. So I've got this bad boy. I'm pretty sure it came from AutoZone, but it's got the 4 different size lugs on there. It's really nice, and it provides good leverage, and something my dad showed me years ago. So you got to be able to take the wheel off, number one, to figure out what's wrong if you have something like this happen. So you got to crack basically the lugs. And the next thing you need to do is you need to have a jack. Using your car's jack, same scenario. If you have a surface that's unlevel, a regular car jack may not give you enough clearance. So I actually have this ratty old floor jack, and it's torn up. I've used this thing, I don't even know how many times. So I carry that with me. It's huge, it's obnoxious, it's heavy, but it is what it is. That's my number 2. My number 3, this is just a scrap piece of 6x6. I wouldn't use anything smaller than this. If you use a 4x4, it's not going to give you enough ground clearance to do what you need. So a lot of times what I'll end up doing is, if I'm in a situation where the jack isn't enough, I'll actually put this underneath the axle, slide it underneath there, and actually pick the boat up. there's all kinds of scenarios you can use this for other things when you're jacking it up. So that's item number 3. So you've got it jacked up, you've got the lugs cracked, then you go ahead and take the wheel off. You know, here's my spare, but you know, the tire's usually not your issue if you're dealing with the bearings. So this is kind of the nuts and bolts of everything that I must carry. This is your must-have. Again, all that other stuff is really important too. Imagine having all this, but not actually being able to get the tire off because you didn't have the right lug wrench, or you didn't have a jack that had enough clearance. Really, the more specific part out of being able to jack the trailer up and get the tire off is really all of this stuff here. And after I've probably been broken down on the road 3 times in 30 years, and we always, I believe, I don't want to knock on wood, I'm pretty sure every one of those times we had these kinds of tools with us. So the number one thing I want to point out here is if you this bearing kit here, you got to know if your bearings go and you don't have spares, then you've got nothing. You've got trouble. So know what kind of axle you have. There's straight shaft and there's tapered. The tie down 3,500 pound axles, I have 2 of them on my trailer. It has a tapered shaft on each of the spindles. So this is a nice little kit for $15. I got it at Academy Sports. It's really hard to find. If you have a West Marine near you, I'm sure that they carry this or something like it. But this, and also maybe even as a even slightly better alternative, is this kit. So I have basically in this kit you have the front and rear bearings and the seal and a replacement cotter pin. You're probably going to destroy the cotter pin that's on there. But in this kit, everything kind of comes together in a nice little bundle. So it's already pre-packed with grease. It already comes in a bag. It's got a cap, let's see, some lugs, and also another cotter pin. So that's probably a nice little kit to have. Again, that fits on the front of my trailer. I have a spare carrier where I put that hub on there. And that's also a product made by Tie Down. But I have this already on. I don't have to actually carry that in my car because it's mounted on the front part of my trailer with my spare, and it's got lug nuts on it. So all of that is there. The main thing that you're missing from all of this so far is a crown nut. I would say it's a really bad idea to roll around with this or this and not have a new crown nut with you. Here's why, is that last trip that I had when I was hobbling down the shoulder, that last half mile, I actually destroyed the crown nut. I just happen to have another one, again, with this kit on the front of my trailer. I had one, so I was good. But if you're rolling around with just this and you don't have the crown nut and you damage it, or something I'm not picturing here is a spindle, then you might have problems. You broke it all down, but you can't get any further. Now, so all of this stuff here, what you'll find is, so you take the tire off, and I'll show this in another video. You take the tire off, you take the hub off. That's what this is. This is a hub assembly. You take it off, and what I find is these bearings, like the inner part of your bearing here, will actually like fuse itself, or it'll score and get stuck on the spindle. So this is just a cheap Harbor Freight, I think it's a 5-pound little mini sledge. This here, I honestly don't know what this is called. I know I'm going to get criticized, but this is a really heavy piece of metal that I carry around. I don't want to call it a chisel. I'm not even sure, and I don't care. I'm not a mechanic. But I use this together to take the old bearing parts off if they get stuck on there. A pair of needle nose. I've got this kind of funky pair. This is really used to get the cotter pin out. Same thing here with a straight slot screwdriver. This is to get your crown nut off. So you can use a pair of channel locks. I find a pipe wrench already preset and ready to go. I actually set this. I only use this for this purpose. But I set it so that literally I don't have to think. This is literally made just for taking the crown nut off. So I keep it in there. I have a problem, take everything off, put it on there, wind the crown nut off. If I'm having a little trouble, especially, this is a great thing to have. And that's pretty much it. So about 16 items or so. If you look over here, I have paper towels. It's going to be a mess. You have gloves. You don't have to have these, but you're going to have grease all over you. Got your grease gun here. Now, the nice thing is about this kit's about $45, I think, $47, maybe $49 even. it's already pre-greased. You really don't have to think about it. And honestly, if you have this kit, you could probably get by without having a grease gun, or you could at least make it home without pumping fresh grease in there because it comes already pre-packed. So anyways, so you've got your grease gun, you've got your gloves, and then you've got your paper towels. And so you're gonna have a mess. You're gonna get stuff on you. You're gonna get road grime, old grease, new grease. It's gonna get on you. So definitely carry some paper towels and some gloves. Just minimize what you're doing. And then over here, this is kind of I've got my bag. This is just a junky old bag from Home Depot that I throw other things in as I drive down the road. I've got other sockets, other stuff. I think it's getting a little too far deep to explain all that, but I carry other stuff in case other stuff on my trailer breaks. I've got U-bolts, stainless steel U-bolts, various parts for the trailer. You just never know what's going to come down the road at you. I've got a hacksaw. Again, that's sort of getting outside the scope I want to show you here. But I've got this bin, and so what I do, I mean, you can look in here. I think this bin was like 12 bucks, Home Depot. I also got all kinds of other stuff in there that's non-emergency, but definitely essential. But I'll take all this stuff, maybe aside from the jack, and put it in this bin. And every time I go on a road trip with the boat, I take it, I throw it in the car, I grab my jack, and put the tire iron in there, and I don't have to really think about anything. I've got what I need. A bearing, something happens, and there I am on the side of the road. It's really just a matter of time before I fix it. So anyways, I hope you found this useful. If you like this kind of content, post in the comments some questions that you have, suggestions about other videos. I've got a lot of ideas. I've posted other stuff in the past that's done really well on YouTube, and I'm just kind of looking for some more feedback on what might be useful to show you guys. But hopefully you found this useful, and thank you so much for watching.